we'll go ahead and start. I think we got a lot of people, most people on. Again, to introduce myself, I'm Spencer Beals, principal here at Mulaski. I've worked here for a long time, and I love Mulaski. It's a great place to work and to go to school. So I'm excited for you guys to join us next year. Those of you that might have older brothers or sisters or cousins, you might have kids that have been here before. So I might recognize and know some of you, and we're excited. I will pass it off to Miss Lash, the sixth grade administrator. She's the assistant principal over the sixth graders, so she'll be working with you next year and also working with you to get you enrolled and all those things so that we're ready for you next school year. And we look forward to seeing you soon. And we'll, again, answer questions here at the end. So any questions that you have, write them down so you don't forget, and we'll answer them at the end. All right, guys, have a great day.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Mrs. Lash, sixth grade assistant principal. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you all for being so patient with our changes and everything that we had to shift to last minute. We would absolutely love to have all of you here in person, but unfortunately we couldn't make that happen this year. So hopefully you guys will get to be part of that when you're here next year, welcoming our new bunch of students. All right, so right down here underneath of our welcome and our tour of Mulaski, you'll see this little paragraph here that says all fifth grade students attending Mulaski as a sixth grader next year need to complete this form, and there's a little link right there. Before completing this form, make sure you have watched the videos in the elective section to learn more about each of our electives and what is offered. We just want you guys to make a good decision on what elective you want to be a part of, because once you choose that elective, we do not easily change schedules. So especially once we get into the first part of the year, once you choose that elective, you are locked in for the duration of the year. These are all 4-year-long electives. So you're going to have it the entire sixth grade year. So you want to make sure that you make a good choice and that you choose the elective that best suits you. Now, of course, sometimes with scheduling the number of kids that we have coming here, we don't always get our first choice. So when I come out and visit with each of your classes next week, you guys are all going to be able to choose your first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice. Okay. We'll do everything we possibly can to try to make that first choice so that you guys are all happy with the elective that's chosen for you and that you choose. But sometimes there's those scheduling issues that don't allow us to be able to do that. And then in addition to these electives, we do have some other electives for additional support. And that will all be determined by your teachers in your fifth grade classroom and our counselors here as we review all of your academic information. So those might be some other options as well, in addition to the ones that you can choose. Okay. So this form has to be completed by February 15th. So you guys can take a look at it. It will go live later today. And you can go ahead and get a head start and fill it out ahead of time, but you're only going to be able to submit it once. So make sure that you wait and submit it when you're absolutely sure which elective you want to choose. And if there's any other questions that you're not sure about that we don't answer here today, then when I come out and visit your individual classrooms next week, then you can ask those questions and make sure that you really are making a good choice for which elective you want. If you have any questions, you can email the counselors. There's a link there, or call the school. All right, and then there's also a link to our new course catalog. This is pretty exciting because there are some changes for our sixth graders for next year. Previously, as a sixth grader, you would have taken a semester of computers. This next year, you are the first sixth grade class that is going to change for. So you will now have PE for your entire sixth grade year. You will not take computers until you are in eighth grade now. That is a high school elective course that gives you credit for high school. So we are moving that from sixth grade to eighth grade. And just a little note, I am maxed out on questions. So if you guys can hold tight until I get some of them cleared out in just a minute, and then you can start submitting some more questions that you have, okay? All right, so you guys can take a look at our course catalog. There's all kinds of information specifically about each of our classes and our new Mulaski Pride that we have revamped this year. So what Pride stands for is prepared for success, relationship builders, integrity in all choices and actions, determination to always improve, and empowered learners. That is what we hope that you all will follow while you are here with us. And a huge part of that is our Mulaski house system. I know many of you from coming to your elementary schools also have a house system. All right, so like I said, you can take a look, read through that course catalog. As you scroll down through it, our mission statement, our house system, attendance information, and then course of study. And I'm just going to scroll through a little bit faster to get down to the information about classes. Then you'll get to those 6th grade required classes. So required classes and then electives, there will be a little bit more of a description for each of those. All right. So this button, I'm going to go back to our homepage, is right here on the Mulaski homepage, mulaski.org, incoming 5th graders. So if you need to refer back to it and for you guys to go to fill out that form later today, or when I come to your classroom next week, you can do that right there. Okay. All right. I'm going to start tackling all of the questions. You guys have some amazing questions. Some of them I think you have already gotten answered. Do we have band? Yes. Football. We do have flag football. So sports that we have: flag football, boys and girls flag football, boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer. Not sure about volleyball or softball this year, but we have offered those in the past. So we just haven't had any announcements yet as to how that's going to look for the spring. So we do have several sports. Basketball. School clubs. We have a variety of clubs, and sometimes that changes from year to year. And you can see right here on our website, after school clubs and sports. So there is a button right there. You guys can go and check out what we have to offer right now. Like I said, sometimes that changes from year to year, but for the most part, that pretty well stays the same. Sometimes the days that they're offered change, and we do have a late bus running every day, Monday through Thursday after school. It runs an hour after. That way you can stay for any of the clubs and activities, practices, and things like that, and still be able to ride the bus home if you're a bus rider. All right, architecture. We do not, unfortunately, have architecture. Great question. More basketball questions. All right, 6th grade schedule. So like I said, you will have those core classes. You'll have an ELA block. That means you'll have 2 periods back to back of English and reading. That's 2 50-minute periods back to back together with the same teacher most likely. It's possible that you may have a split class, which means you will have one class with your English teacher, which is one teacher, and one class with a reading teacher, who's the other teacher. But we tried to do mostly blocks where you have the same teacher for that entire block of time. So that's 2 classes. Then you'll have a math class. That's 3. You will have your elective. That's 4. You'll have 6th grade science the whole year. That's 5. And then you'll have PE for the whole year. That's 6. So 6 classes. Our schedule is changing next year, like many schools around the valley. So we are changing to an 8 o'clock start time. So all of you who have asked about what our start time is, what time you are going to be considered late, you have to be in your class by 8 o'clock. That is going to be our start time. You do have time to transition in between classes. So 4 or 5 minutes in between classes so that you can get to your next class. So that is the break that you will have in between each of your classes. And you'll have to make sure that you get to each class on time or you will be marked tardy. All right, I'm trying to just clean up some of these questions as I am going through them. All right, so great question about wanting to go to Mulaski, but may not be zoned for here. So we will have open enrollment, which will come out later during the school year. The new process is called change of school assignment. So if you are not zoned for Mulaski, but you would like to come to Mulaski, you can check out information on the CCSD website about change of school assignment, or COSA, COSA. And you can apply to still come to Mulaski even if you are not zoned for here. And any further questions about that, please encourage your parents to call the school and ask about that. We would love to have you. All right, what time considered late? Yes, we do this every single year. We always invite our incoming fifth graders over to Mulaski. This is our second year doing it virtually, thanks to COVID. All right, can we bring band instruments of our own? Yes, you absolutely can. So you will have the option to check out one of our instruments from Mulaski that you can use back and forth. Depending on the number of students, if we have more students who are needing to borrow, then they may have to stay at school, just to make sure that we have enough during the day in case people forget. But then if you would like to purchase your own, or maybe you are already in band, guitar, orchestra, and you already have an instrument that you're playing, then you absolutely can bring your own from home as well. And each of our music teachers will talk to you individually about that, just so that you can make sure you are placed accordingly based on your skill level as well. All right, already answered about sports and football. We always need people to join each of our teams. Got to make sure you keep your grades up and have good behavior. All right, lots of those questions. Drums. Yes, we do absolutely have drums during band. All right, lunch times. What is first and second lunch? So right now, we go to lunch at 10:55 and 11:55 for 30 minutes. Next year, since we are pushing our start time back 5 minutes, I anticipate that will be 10:50 and 11:50 for a 30-minute lunch for each group. So our first group is typically all of 6th grade and half of 7th grade, depending on what class they have in that hallway. And then our second lunch is half of 7th grade and all of 8th grade hallway. And they are dismissed based on classrooms. So it may not necessarily be your grade level, but if you are taking a class that is in that hallway, the 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade hallway, that is how lunches are decided based on the teacher that's teaching each of the classes and when they take their lunch. All right, people are very nice, Cameron. Thank you for asking that. Lunch start, we've got lots of those questions. Do we have Spanish class? For our 7th graders, we do offer conversational Spanish. You can take it in 8th grade if you did not take it in 7th. So that currently is a year-long class. So yes, we do offer Spanish, but not to 6th grade. Florico dance. We do not have Florico dance. However, I will tell you, when I said that our clubs and activities tend to change from year to year sometimes, it's because we have new students coming in and new interests. And sometimes something that maybe was of high interest with a group of kids, if those kids all left and moved on to high school or to other schools in the Valley, then maybe there isn't a need for that club anymore. And we could add something like Florico dance. So we try to just get a group of kids who are all interested in adding that club or activity, find a teacher that is willing to oversee the club and be the advisor, and then we are able to offer that club as well. Can you choose more than one instrument in band? So you will start off choosing one, and depending on the success of that instrument, you may be able to choose something different. Mr. Rayhill is really good about trying to fit students with your interest and finding something that you enjoy playing and that you take to pretty easily and are successful with. So there is some opportunity for finding different instruments that suit you better. I know with guitar, Mr. Sittler will definitely expose you to different types of guitars that you can play. Once you get the basics down of just learning how to play the guitar, then that exploration of the different types of guitars will come in as well. And the same goes for orchestra. There's a variety of instruments in orchestra. Mr. Clayton will want to put you fit together with one that's best for you. All right, percentage of acceptance to Mulaski. So I know there's a question down further as well about, is Mulaski a magnet school? We are not a magnet program. We do have amazing electives though, and ones that I think any of you would be super interested in joining and would love once you get here. So everyone, for the most part, if you are zoned here for Mulaski, you are guaranteed a seat. Like I said before, we do have open enrollment and the change of school application, the COSA application, if you are not zoned for Mulaski and would like to come to Mulaski. Aiden, I pick Fortis too. You pick the best house because that's my house. So let me talk a little bit more about that. When you all come, we are hoping and anticipating that we will again be able to offer a 6th grade orientation for our summer acceleration program at the beginning of the school year like we did this year. So please stay tuned for more information about that coming out later once we get final information. I would love to have all of you here, get you a preview to school, get some of those beginning of the school year things out of the way, like getting your Chromebook and finding out what house you're in. So we will assign all of our students to a house. So you will get one of those 4 houses automatically assigned to you, and we'll let you know what that house is. We have tons of fun activities that we do together. We give out house points for following our pride system. And every quarter we have a house party for the house that has the most points. So on our website over here, on the homepage, you will see our tally, our running tally. It was up right there. So right now, this quarter, Potens is in the lead and Fortis is a close second behind. So Mrs. Lash is going to have to step up giving out points at lunch today and in the hallways when I see kids doing what they're supposed to be doing and being responsible and respectful. All right, so you will each get one of those. All right, the question that has probably come through the most, do we have to pay for lunch? And guess what? It is time for your answer. We are currently a Title I school and 100% free and reduced, which means you do not pay for lunch. And as an added bonus, you do not pay for breakfast. So every single day you can come to school, you can eat breakfast here, you can eat lunch here, you don't have to pay for anything. Now, what you will have to pay for, if you remember the student store, Houdini's cart, that is all extra items that do have to be paid for. So things that we offer there are chips, ice cream bars, Gatorades, hot Cheetos, that's the most popular one, corn nuts, Rice Krispie treats, all kinds of little snacks. So we do offer those every day the student store is open, but you do have to bring your own money for all of that. All right, lockers. So because of COVID, we moved away from using our lockers, and we honestly have not made a decision about that moving forward for next school year. So currently our students do not use lockers. You can carry your backpack. You carry it around with you all day long, keep it with you. So that is currently what it is right now. If any of that changes, we will definitely put that information out to the elementary schools so that you guys can be fully prepared. Each class is approximately 50 minutes long. Sometimes we have special things like assemblies, just like any other school year, where there might be changes or we might be operating on a shortened schedule. Is there piano? I believe that as part of band, if you are a piano player, that Mr. Rahill can incorporate that in, but he will most likely try to have you explore also a new instrument as part of learning band. All right, so school hours next year is going to be 8 to 11, 8 a.m. to 11. All right, subjects we covered. School hours we covered. Will joining a STEM class allow you to be a step ahead in high school and college, depending on the job you want to be in? Absolutely. Joining STEM and being a part of that class and learning everything that you're going to learn in STEM is definitely going to give you a heads up. And what we didn't talk about today here, because it's not offered to our sixth graders, but once you take STEM, STEM 1 is a prerequisite for our robotics class. So after STEM 1 comes intermediate STEM and advanced STEM or robotics. So you would also have the opportunity as a 7th or 8th grader to take robotics, which could absolutely also prepare you as an introduction for next year or for high school, and depending on what career you're interested in going into. How much do you have to pay, or do you have to pay for the STEM program? All of our electives are $25. So there's that cost that's associated with each of the electives, which helps pay for, just some of the things with your instruments, any repair or cleaning that would have to be for instruments, any extra materials that are needed for those classes, especially with STEM. You guys do a lot of projects and hands-on activities in there. So each of our electives is $25. And of course, if there's any hardships or anybody needing monetary assistance with any of that, you can always contact our office and talk to one of our office managers. Art, we do have art class. Art is offered for our 7th and 8th grade students. Miss Clayton, who is Mr. Clayton's wife, is actually one of our art teachers. All right, what are the rules? Great question, Benjamin. So over here on the Molaski website, you can see the Pride option up here in the top right-hand corner. There's information on our houses, behavior expectations, progressive discipline, absences, student incident report, bully-free zone. Tons of incredible information here. So you can read all about it under behavior expectations, progressive discipline, absences. Read all of those up. Make sure you peruse, look at everything on our website. If I scroll down here, you'll see that we have all kinds of information. Okay, so there's all kinds of good links and good info. You can also, if you go over here to About Us and go to Teachers and Websites, Administration, Counselors, you can click on those buttons and get to know all of your teachers' faces. Okay, so you've got Reading in English. It tells what grade level your teachers are. So this is a really cool opportunity as well. Got your administrators, Ms. Hungerford, Mr. LeBoy were not able to join us today. They are the 7th grade assistant principal and 8th grade assistant principal. Ms. Hungerford is WIDA testing and Mr. LeBoy is assisting, I believe, today. All right, what do we do in drama? Drama class, you learn the ins and outs of putting on a play. And you'll learn the different roles that there are, both on stage and off stage, behind the scenes. You guys will pick and choose what things interest you the most and pick your role. And then you will put on a play each semester, which is pretty exciting. And I think that every year they completely amaze me and do an incredible job in the short amount of time that they have. All right, a lot of these are repeats. Derek, benefits of joining each of these classes. Well, the absolute benefits are going to be you learning something new and something different. And it's in your interest area. And the other cool thing is if you don't particularly like it, so say you're in guitar all year and you learn how to play, but it's just not really your thing, you can choose something different for 7th or 8th grade. Anime Club, we do have Anime Club. It is one of our most popular clubs that we always have very strong attendance for. We do have dance. Okay, if you pick an instrument, can you change a month in playing the instruments that you choose? So I talked about that a little bit. Depending on the instrument and how well you're doing, if you're maybe struggling and it's just not the right fit for you, your teachers are going to try their best to try to make a change and make sure that they can help you be as successful as possible. Can we pick what houses we go into? Unfortunately, no. We pick them for you based on a total randomization. So I work with our tech department, and we put in all of our new students, both 6th grade and anybody transferring from other schools or new students coming in. And we fill up the slots in all of our houses to make sure that everybody is fair and balanced, so that one team cannot say that the other team has a ton more people and then they're going to get more points, because we don't want that to be unfair. We want to make sure that each team has the opportunity to win those house parties at the end of every quarter. All right, do we have assigned seats? This is a great question. I'm sure this is already the case in your classes in elementary school and on the school bus. I want to include that too, because that is super important. So in your classes, it varies from teacher to teacher. Some teachers are going to allow you to choose where you sit. And of course, as I'm sure that's been in 5th grade, depending on how successful that goes, your teachers may or may not keep that. So some are automatically going to have assigned seats for you, and others may let you choose until things don't go well. On the school bus, it's going to be the same thing. They are going to probably allow you to sit wherever until they get going into the school year, see how things are going on the bus. And if there are any behavior problems, they're pretty quickly going to go to assigned seats where you are required to sit. Another super important thing with riding the bus when you are in middle school that kids don't often understand: when there is behavior on the bus, there are consequences for that behavior. If you get 3 infractions or more on the bus, you will lose your riding privileges and your parents will have to transport you to school. So if you are bus riders, which I will talk about more when I come into your schools next week, please make sure that you are being responsible and behaving appropriately on the school bus. Is there dances? Yes, we do have dances. Periodically, not overly often. I would say probably about 1 a quarter. We have a school dance after school that student council puts on, and they are lots and lots of fun. The Halloween dance is the first one that's totally coming to mind, and that one is always a great time. Can you use your phones? You may have phones on during lunch. Phones are not allowed in the classrooms. They are not allowed to be on. They need to be powered off at the beginning of the day, and they need to be put away in your backpacks. If you are caught with your phone out, it will be confiscated, taken to the Pride office, and your parents will have to come and pick it up after school if a teacher takes it away during class, or an administrator or campus monitor. What if you have a sister that goes to Mulaski? Well, if you have a sister that goes here, then you have all the ins. You get to know all the things up front. You have somebody at your fingertips to ask all the questions that you're wondering about. And hopefully you have a helper, somebody that's going to help and assist you when you get here to make sure that you go exactly where you need to go. Will we be wearing uniforms? Currently, Mulaski is not a uniform school. We do follow the school district guidelines for dress code. So please make sure you understand what that dress code is. If you do not wear appropriate dress to school, you will be asked to change. We do have spare clothing in our Pride office, and we do have a clothing closet for anyone in need that has a lot of extra clothing, so that we are able to let you borrow something so that you are in school dress code attire. How many clubs can you join? As many as you want to stay for after school every day. So they have different days and times that they are offered, and that's what you need to make sure you abide by. So I'm getting great questions about dress code. Those are all found in the Pride behavior expectations. Also, if you go to the CCSD website, this is super important to brush up on. Under parents, right down over here, there is K-12 Student Code of Conduct. This is something that every single year is sent out to you and your parents at the very beginning of school, that you all have to sign and say that you acknowledge and understand that you have reviewed. So for any of you questioning what happens for some of those things if you were to get in trouble. All of that information is in that K-12 student code of conduct. So please make sure that you brush up on those for what exact dress code is and what you need to abide by. All right, looks like we've got a bunch of the same questions. Snacks are $1 out of the student store. Everything's $1. Is there bass and guitar or an orchestra? Yes, there sure is. After school clubs, remember, go to that button on the Mulaski website and you can see what we offer right now. All right, it looks like I have most of the questions. Do we have to pay to ride the bus? You do not if transportation is offered for your house. So it's more than 2 miles away from the school. You can go to the CCSD website for transportation, click on the link there and check your home address. Once it gets closer to school, you can kind of get an idea right now. They don't typically change up the locations too often, but sometimes they do change. So make sure you check that before school to see exactly where your bus stop is and where you need to walk to get to first thing in the morning. All right, and I think that pretty well covers the majority of our questions for today. I want to thank everybody so much for being so patient with us with all of our changes. We are so excited to have you. We can't wait. This is the best time of the year. I feel like even better sometimes than the beginning once we start looking at all the new kids that are coming in and we start really rebuilding our anticipation for the next school year. So I will be out next week into each of your classes. If you have questions that did not get answered today or any that you think of, please write them down so that you're prepared for next week when I come to visit. And I will hopefully be able to answer all of those questions then. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you next week. Take care.